And then next to him, a man that needs no introduction, a friend to all Guardian kind, but we're still going to introduce him anyway. Global community lead here at Bungie, Mr. Dylan Gaffner. Dylan, how's it going, man?
It's going great. I'm awake.
Yeah, a bit of an early morning for us here today, huh?
Yeah, but it was a nice early morning. I'm excited for this. This is going to be a good show today.
No, man, and I'm very glad you're here. For those that may not already be following you on Twitter or haven't heckled you in the very same avenue for anything recently, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here at Bungie?
Yeah, I'm the guy that says we're listening. Ultimately, work with the community team, do a lot of the strategizing, looking at the forward-facing comms and all that, but then work with our community folks, our player support folks, and see what we can talk about when, and work with these guys to get all the goods out and the comms straight. So.
Yeah, huge shout out to your compatriots on the community team, to Cosmo, to Bruno, to David, the whole crew.
Alex, Eduardo as well.
Thank you. That's right. Lest we forget. All right. So we have a lot of stuff to go ahead and move along into. I vote we go ahead and start with you, Noah. Before we dive into the gameplay, just very briefly, we're now about to arrive in Act 2 of Revenant. Can you tell us a little bit about Act 1 and what got us to where we are today?
Absolutely. So as players know, we were tracking down House Salvation on Europa, and we ended up discovering that Fickrell has found a paracausal echo, and he's able to make newly Revenant Scorn from living Elixni as opposed to dead Elixni.
Yeah.
So we went across the system, freeing Elixni from the onslaught. The onslaught of Scorn hordes and, disrupting the Revenant Scorn nest all across the system. Now we're hot on Fickrell's trail, and we've found our way back to the reef. So, some Destiny players that maybe have a longer tenure might have an idea of what Fickrell might be interested in terms of reef-bound system stuff.
Very interesting, which I will say, very conveniently, excellent segue, thank you, leads us to our first batch of gameplay.
Exactly.
For, again, the Destiny vets out there, the Destiny 1 players who may be still with us as well, myself included, we are returning to an activity that's been reprised from the Destiny 1 days.
Absolutely.
Noah, can you tell us what we're getting into here?
You said returning. I'd like to say this activity was reimagined.
Yeah.
Instead of it being the Prison of Elders from Destiny 1, this is now a Tomb of Elders. This activity specifically is Contest of Elders, actually. Now, I'm going to want the fire team to hold up a little bit because I want to describe it a little bit for the audience.
Excellent.
So if those who are familiar with things like Deep Dives or The Coil and Riven's Lair from Season 23, this is a similar kind of activity where it's a longer tail, more roguelite activity. One of our design tenets was we wanted to make it as variable as possible. And we'll go into a lot of what makes it as variable as it is. But in general, it follows a lot of the beats from Prison of Elders and Destiny 1, which is, you go to arenas, complete encounters, and all this while the spooky, scary warden is kind of in your ear, kind of egging you on.
Yeah.
Instead of it being Varix, it's the warden servitor.
Yeah.
And players are trying to placate this warden rather than rebel against him. So the more you do that he says, you'll actually get more loot, and we'll go into that a little bit more in the future.
Excellent. A lot of chances to test out your Varix impressions, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we'll hear a little.
Yeah, give it time. We'll get there, absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and kick things off. So cool. With this, was it basically just bringing back kind of the activity from Destiny 1, same races, same bosses and everything, or what are you guys trying to do?
We wanted to, I think the key that I was really excited about was, I had a rule which was, we want to keep the best parts
bring back
of Prison
some of
of
the
Elders
same
that
bosses.
people love.
We need some Psylocke to defile.
So, things like Dismantle Mines. We might have some fan favorite Taken bosses and other bosses that people remember.
Yeah.
But the main thing was being able to modernize it to not only the new Destiny sandbox that we have, but just the new vibe. We're in a vampire hunter season. Why not go back to the derelict Prison of Elders and hunt more vampires? And like you said about factions, in the old Prison of Elders, it was the Fallen, the Cabal, the Hive, the Vex.
Okay.
We don't have the Vex anymore. Instead, it's the Dread now, being led by some Taken forces.
Very cool.
Instead of the regular Cabal, we have the Shadow Legion. Instead of normal Hive, we have the Lucent Hive, and we have the Revenant Scorn instead of the Fallen. So we kind of changed up all the races, and you'll be able to see it's really apparent when you go to their arenas since they're all themed based on the races.
Yeah. So I'm going to bug you about bosses soon, but can you tell us just a little bit about what we're seeing here, whether it's the modifiers or anything like that? I noticed there's obviously a lot of chances to test your skill here against the modifiers you guys have put in.
Oh, yeah. So we, for those who are familiar with the Legacy Prison of Elders, there were a bunch of modifiers that were on a rotation. Some were kind of beneficial, like Solar Burn, where it was like the enemies give you damage, but you can kind of deal some. In this, all of them are not beneficial to you. And actually, as a quick segue, we saw Urrox there. He was an old Destiny 1 Prison of Elders boss, a legacy boss.
Yeah.
And he's come back as a Lucent Hive
Oh,
Guardian.
good.
And we
Some
have
legacy
some
bosses.
other
They're
few
back.
bosses
That's
who have come
good.
back.
Interesting.
from the grave.
Yeah.
Sam, you look very
given that
torn.
he's no longer just a Hive Knight. He's got both the big shields and everything. He's ready to go ahead and be brought.
I look
back
very
to
torn.
Hive.
That's just
Some
all.
new
We have some
challenge.
UI too
Maybe
that
this
we
looks
were able
interesting.
to
Like maybe,
bring back from
maybe.
Legacy Prison of Elders. Every time you
Yeah,
see
I'm
a
not sure. Like, I'm just
it
trying
appears on the
to,
screen in the middle
trying
of
to
the
feel
screen,
out. Yeah,
you'll be
what
like,
am
oh,
I,
it's
what am I
chill touch,
feeling
or
here?
it's
Because
counterfeit, 'cause we have some of
Prison of
the,
Elders
new
is
modifiers
already
like
kind of
Revenant,
very
so
similar
Revenant
to
that are in here.
Onslaught.
We
You
got
know, defending
counterfeit,
waves, defeating
we got,
bosses.
Haste, we got Brawn, if people have had experience with that, and a few other things like Chill Touch, Scrapper, Grounded, a few other things that kind of rotate around.
A lot of opportunities to get good.
Yeah. Opportunities to run around, grab your ammo, and then turn out it's a bomb. Oops.
I love that one. That's one of my favorite perks, actually.
That never happens to me all the time. No, all right.
It's really nice that it pops up.
Yeah, Chill Touch right there.
Yeah, I want to shout out. I want to shout out our engineering team for being able to bring this in, and our UI team for kind of everyone came together and had a strike force so that we could bring this back. It was no small feat, but I'm glad it works, as we intended it to.
No, we appreciate it. As someone who intends to spend a ridiculous amount of time in here, thank you, and yours for your hard work.
Absolutely.
So,
I kind of wanted
Was
to
I collecting
talk about one more
explosives?
thing in terms of how this activity is structured.
Yeah.
I'd say it's very close to Riven's Lair.
Hey, Squires, how you going, mate?
Riven's Lair.
Yeah, this is Act 2 of the Revenant episode.
Trap room, then a boss. And this is
So
slightly
the
more
devs just give us a little bit of insight into what's coming. Is it? I think it might be next week. Act 2 kicks off.
Throughout the prison, it's still shaped like the spokes, like in the original Prison of Elders. Then you'll have a short traversal section, and then you'll have a boss. And then after that, you will get pulled into the warden's office and get your loot, and then you'll run around the loop again. In every single encounter, you're going to have a challenge, and for bosses specifically, you're going to have a critical objective. And that kind of all goes into like this in-activity reputation system that's called the Warden's Judgment. When you read the rules, for all my players who like to read, you can see what that is, but I know people don't read, so I'm going to try to explain it the best I can.
Why were you staring right at me when you said that? That's so weird.
I don't read either.
Okay. All right,
I literally will look at it and I'll be like, I don't care.
I'll figure
Launch.
Yeah.
So the Warden's Judgment is a pretty simple but kind of complicated mechanic we have that's meant to address some of the feedback that we've gotten from the coil specifically. So for those who are very experienced with that activity, people were very much questioning how do you get to the wish chamber, like how many wishing glass you need to get, like if you felt like you didn't get the loot goblin, you're like, oh, I didn't get the wish chamber. We found out statistically that most people had already surpassed the threshold they need to get to the wish chamber, but it just missing out things felt bad, and it initially kind of like hampers your desire to keep going because you might be like, well, I don't want to get to the very end and see if I didn't get to it.
Right.
So to address that, the Warden's Judgment is kind of like a inactivity way to check how well you're doing. There will be a buff on the top of your screen, and it'll kind of dictate how well you're doing. So when you complete a challenge or a bonus objective, your Warden's Judgment will increase. It can get all the way up to favor times 1 to 3. If you do not complete the objective within the time limit, you will go down a level. And if you're in Warden's Punishment, the activity gets a little bit easier. We have less elites, less mini bosses, and our high value targets that are called model prisoners will be elites, and they give you a revive.
Model prisoners, high value targets. That's so
funny.
funny.
The better you do, we have more things that are going to try to hamper you. We'll have traps in the arena. We'll have increased mini bosses, and when you're at favor times 3, the ultimate test, because you want to stay at that the whole time for max rewards. Your bonus objective time limits will be reduced by around 30%.
Okay.
So some things may take, maybe you have 2.5 minutes to complete something, and then it becomes 2 minutes. Or you have a minute and 30 seconds, and maybe it becomes just a minute. Like it gets a little bit tougher. Exactly. But that's kind of the core about this activity that makes it cool. People say
gotta go
these activities
fast.
kind of
Gotta
take a
move
long
fast.
time. Sometimes you have 40, 50, maybe 60-minute activities. The better you do, the warden can actually allow you to skip an encounter, and we've
Good. That's what you want. You want to be able to like be rewarded
minutes, 30 minutes, and
for like your lethality. You shouldn't be having like the first 10, 20 waves in Onslaught are just boring. It's just a chore to get through.
How the flow is, and you'll be able to get a lot
To be able to
of rewards
move
really
through
fast
that
and kind
stuff
of
quickly is a
experience
massive
the Prison
boom.
of Elders in this new light. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Build into it a bit.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, to the community, what was that again? 28 minutes, you said?
28.
All right. When it comes out next week, the issue
They'll
has been
blow past
challenged.
that. They'll blow past
No, I'm sure, but still, it's best the issue
Wait for
challenge.
the solo run. Too.
Yeah,
It's
if
like,
you
oh, I
get-
did this in
If
15
you can
minutes.
solo it in under 28 minutes, I will give you a title that I bestowed of very few people. You will be that guy. and I will at you on Twitter or something.
That's all right. Well,
Not in game.
No,
Just gonna,
not in game, not in game,
Yeah,
not in
this
game.
is just like a imaginary title.
Yeah,
Well,
I made that up just now. Sorry.
He'll say it on Twitter. Blazing
on Twitter.
Muffins will give you a shout out on Twitter. But no, so it's kind of nice to have the opportunity to sort of, I guess, if you're learning the activities, if you're kind of just, getting beaten down a little bit, you have a chance to build yourself up a bit, kind of get a sense of the battle arena, the mechanics.
He
of plays,
almost
that
got
way
in
as you
trouble
kind of build
there.
yourself up to that higher Warden's favor. There
Fire
are.
Team's actually showing one of my favorite features, which is
Please.
we tried to give every boss a cool intro. So this
Oh,
boss
cool intro. Hell yeah.
descends in from a thresher from the ceiling. So every enemy race has their own kind of mechanic. So the Hive, generally their mechanics.
Like if they're
are
prisoners if they're prisoners, where are they getting drop shipped from? This is the worst prison ever.
Immune. We'll see the dreads in a second, but the scorns are about like getting these explosive canisters and kind of making a makeshift explosive.
Yeah.
Internally, I like to call it the junkyard fantasy because like it's kind of like all junky and rusted and stuff.
Tinkering and putting it together.
Yeah, you put it together, and then it makes this really cool. Shout out Mikola for doing this. He also made Liminality Strike, so shout out to him.
Oh.
He made a really cool thing where like you see the explosion trail like kind of get to the big explosive.
Oh, like a fuse.
Yes, it's so cool.
No, I have to ask, why did it have to be a Thresher? Because I'm having some memories from Neo Muna. This is scaring me already.
Well, Threshers are cool, and it's just, it's cool to have different boss silhouettes in Destiny. We don't often actually fight a Thresher as a boss, and the Thresher's not even the true boss, as we see a Scion and his Scion goons are the actual main bosses for this fleet.
Take down the Threshers and
like
actually
kind of
summon the
quasi
bosses.
mechanic there, where it's like, you start off, you got to kill the Thresher, and then it's gone. We got like one of those Russian dolls and a bunch of Scions pop out and you gotta deal with them now.
I imagine just that the unstoppable Thresher meme basically just popping up again,
no.
right? Yeah. So I mean, I gotta ask as well. Like this is an opportunity to kind of bring back this activity from Destiny 1 to kind of look at what was best about it.
We got something actually cool to show right here. Also.
Please, dive in.
So players
like
are
gaseous?
probably very much like, why is the screen green?
Fair.
So critical objectives have been massively increased in like complexity, I believe.
Yeah.
So every time a boss
hell
starts, there's just a timer ticking down that we're not showing you, and then a critical objective will spawn. If you complete them or fail them, your Warden's Judgment will react accordingly. But what we ask you to do for these critical objectives are much more dangerous than like our normal stuff, which is like maybe get kills with abilities, get kills with the Scorch Cannon. This one is a certain level and below, all of it will be poison gas that does damage to you over time.
Hell
and
yeah.
the only way to turn it off is you have to
Get into the
turn
gas and
off
hit the switches.
that are also in the poison gas. So the Warden server
That's
will
pretty
be
cool.
like,
I dig that. That's a nice idea. Especially if like maybe the arenas have different sort of critical
all the
objectives.
time. I've been at home
That's
just
cool.
like by myself, just doing a Varix impression, like to like nothing, and I'm like,
That's how I'm going to talk to my cat exclusively now. I can just tell.
I think he'll get a little scared though.
It's okay. He has to exist around me anyway. He's well prepared.
I just think of insect like chattering in the
Yeah.
subtitles. That's all I got in my brain.
Chittering, chattering. I don't know. It's
And we see the
insect
Warden's office. So that's what I call. That's not what it's called.
Please,
But
the
that's what I like
principal's
to call it.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Warden's
time you
office.
complete a boss, you will get pulled to this chamber where the Warden will reward you based on how well you've done. This fire team has done very well. So they get 3 chests, and you get a rally banner that allows you to like kind of refresh your super and ammo and stuff before the next round.
Yeah.
And as we saw, we have like judgment, calculating, punishment protocol, averted. If you're in the Warden's punishment while he's judging you in this like kind of Monopoly style like mini game, a punishment will happen. I don't want to spoil what that is, but I think it'll be very smart. But as we see, they were able to skip the cryopod encounter. If you were like at a neutral or below, you would have to do that cryopod encounter again. But our fire team is good enough to skip it. So if you keep that momentum, you're able to skip that encounter
cool.
every single time and kind of go through the prison.
Just
much
straight
faster.
up skip encounters. Good.
all right, really quickly.
Save
also,
time,
Please feel free to
go
keep coming
fast,
back in. I know there's a lot of stuff we're going
get
to be checking
rewarded.
out. But Taylor, I want to quickly bug you. With the arrival of Act 2, we're going to have a couple of new weapons, a few new weapons being added to the overall loot pool. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the new season, or pardon me, Act weapons, rather, that we're going to be having available to us?
Yeah, sure. So we have like 2 new seasonal weapons or act weapons.
Got the SMG and the shotgun.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There's an Arc Precision SMG, and then there's a
Attrition orbs, right?
Right. SMG and
attrition
shotgun.
orb. Yeah, it's got a bunch of perk rolls on it, which we'll get to in a second. And then a Void Precision Shotgun, which has some Dustrock Blue Jeans.
Void Precision Shotgun.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Is Sojourner a Void Shotgun? Because that'll be good to be able to have another, or even just one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool roles for both of these, both for PvE and PvP. So this one's got the new arc perk, jolting feedback. It's also got loose change, nutrition orbs, and a few other things that really synergize pretty well. You can get like the jolt on and then loose change procs. Just loops into itself. And then the shotgun got a bunch of rolls both for PvE and PvP.
Slide shots surrounded. That's
slide
pretty
shot
good.
closing time. You can get Discord stabilizing rounds, and with the shotgun changes that we did.
Target lock on the SMG as well as frenzy. Full weapon, desperate measures, rampage.
Changes, honestly, yeah.
That's cool. That's a
it's
lot
nice how
of
such a small change can actually
damage in the
make
last
a pretty big difference.
Hold on. Nutrition
not even
orbs.
more damage.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, with regard to the new shotgun, obviously
Got unrelenting.
PvE,
Maybe
rather,
unrelenting would be the way to go,
buffs,
just for
you're
that
saying
constant
bolster
heal.
brace, both hell rounds.
Yeah.
Accept those. But at any rate, there was a PvP role you were talking about earlier as well. Like, it's going to have a lot of versatility in the same.
Oh yeah, it's got a lot of roles, and it's precision frames, so I know it's like the most popular right now for PvP.
Yeah, been getting killed by those a lot these days. So in addition to these two new act weapons getting added to the pool, there's also one of the reprised ones as well that I'm personally pretty excited about from Season of the Splicer coming back, Grid Skipper.
Yes.
Grid Skipper?
Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, I have a very personal connection to this gun, so it was like one of my favorite things. I actually helped work on the original set of these when they first came out. But I did the rolls on these.
Let's take a quick
It's
look.
got some classics from the past, but also some new rolls. Also, it's got a lot of options for both PvE and PvP. Get some Zen Moment Headseeker for PvP, probably pretty nice.
That's what I'm going to be going for.
My original classic role was Killing Wind multi-kill clip, which with the new Splice Origin will work pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm a compulsive reloader myself, so manning the pulse and getting that Splicer Surge going after a couple kills, it pretty much like negates the major downside of rapid fire pulses of being like pretty low hand reload baseline.
That's the role you talked about in the Twid, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Of all the people, you chose the legendary weapon instead.
Yeah. So
for
with the
context,
past, talking about if you could have one weapon made a replica, what would you want? A bunch of other people said exotic, and I was the guy that said Grid Skipper.
I mean, it's a great answer.
Correct choice.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. There's no wrong choice in theirs, but yours was very correct. Let's be very clear.
A couple new PvE rolls as well. But, there's a lot to look forward to. I'm going to be grinding this a lot.
Yeah.
I want to interject real quick because we're at a good time.
Yeah.
So this is the fire team went through it earlier, but this is a traversal section. So these are different than how they were in the coil. I also want to shout out every player who died to my spike traps in the coil. I did that on purpose.
How dare
I don't
you.
feel bad.
There's a lot of grudges being built in chat right now in real time.
It was him with the spike traps.
DM, honestly,
It's fun. It's not fun to them.
You're burning at like 2 a.m. and it's me screaming at my ceiling, Noah, why did you do that?
Exactly. I see all the comments and I'm like.
He just smiles. Yeah, he just feels bad. Warms up his coffee.
That's great.
These are much shorter than they were in the coil, but their goal is in Contest of Elders specifically, not Tomb of Elders, which is like one lap.
Yeah.
These have their own challenges that players have to complete. So for this one, it was kill every enemy, defeat every enemy that's there. There are some that's like collect a bunch of like.
Oh, that's cool. The
fallen lights,
area's
like
like being terraformed. Yeah, cool. It's a dread one.
Energy signals. Or
Hell
like,
yeah.
defeat a boss within a certain amount of time. So there's just more things to kind of challenge you and make these, transitionary spaces a little bit more interesting. And so we have like the piece de resistance right here. My son, everyone will be very excited to see this. This is one of my favorite intros.
The grand reveal.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's see here. And you were saying the Dread and the Taken are working.
Psylocke!
Right?
Yes!
The Taken are kind of taking the helm of the Dread right now, not because like they're
Psylocke, the Defiled. I'm glad he's back. That's good. That's what we want.
He's he was a model inmate.
Yeah.
So
Now,
they were like,
obviously there's something wrong with the audio because he should have been screaming that name.
He was always available for
Our speakers
for
should
work
have
after hours.
exploded.
Library, reading up on the law, right?
Yeah, he was doing his community service, all the works.
So what's the mechanic we're seeing at play here as well, by the way?
So this mechanic is a bad pun. So for everyone who loves Rift or really has even played Excision, instead of Spark Runner buff, it is Dark Runner, where you're picking up splinters. You're picking up darkness splinters that give you stacks of Dark Runner up to like ×3, where it was like Dark Runner max, and then you dunk them in a Rift. And It changes based on like the encounter. For the normal dread encounter, just something different. But in
And
this,
anarchy
like,
for that matter.
Different objective. It's happening right now too.
Oh yeah, we got the rifleman is a critical objective, and the thing with that is there will be clones of the rifleman that spawn around the arena.
Yeah.
You have to find the real one, but the clone's damage is real too.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you're not in their line of sight.
Yeah.
All these critical objectives are meant to be pretty tough.
Yeah, they're not supposed to go easy on you.
Yeah, I mean, they're critical.
It's not the sandbox of Elders, it's the tomb.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, thank you.
They die.
Love and how dynamic all this is too, because even like through our practice runs and all that, we've seen a bunch of different modifiers and different objectives pop up.
This is I mean, if I was to describe what design's goal was for this in one word, it would be variable. There's so much that can change from a given run. Is really trying to embody roguelite to like its fullest. You'll have different pathways every time, which is like you'll go to different cell blocks in different orders.
Yeah.
You'll have different objectives that'll pop up, different critical objectives, like, and you'll have different modifiers and like all this stuff. And based on how well you do, the dynamic, like enemies are harder or easier based on how well you do. Like it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. And I hope players can like, you know, I'm looking at Dado and Astacross, make a good guide for this. Yeah. Because this is a big one. But I think that the more people play, they'll kind of understand the mode a lot more. And there's a lot to offer, I think. And we're not going to show the treasure chamber, unfortunately, but that's kind of the whole thesis. We want everyone to get to that treasure chamber and feel like however they played, they can get paid out based on how well they did.
Definitely.
And my goal was, even if you're at the worst level, if you're at Warden's Punishment ×3, you're able to get to the max rewards in one lap.
Yeah. Just might take you a little bit longer.
Yeah, you just have to be kind of dialed in.
Yeah.
It'll be the phrasing of like, oh, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Exactly.
You got to earn these rewards.
You got to say it in a Varric's voice, though, too.
Oh, I'm not.
The Warden has so many lines. I want to shout out Olivia on narrative for writing all the lines.
Yeah.
He has, I think, like, I don't even know. I'm not going to, like, make a number up right now. But he has a bunch, and they range from being, I'm very proud of you, to, like, come on, man, you got to do a little better than that.
Yeah,
it kind of pushes you to kind of just want to make him proud.
Yeah, he's not mad, he's just disappointed.
Disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Dylan is the father here. He's used to saying that to me.
I don't use the slang like you do.
That's it. I mean, I got that Skibbity Ohio riz, unfortunately. But
what was that?
moving right along. Actually, while we have a second here, Taylor, I wanted to go ahead back to you.
Yeah.
Actually, we've got some new artifact mods joining this time around as well. Do you mind if we take a look and kind of walk through and see what we got here?
Yeah. So we've got like the last.
Yeah, what do we got? What are these new ones?
Episode. Sorry.
Energy
we have a new row unlocking in Act 2. These are all close quarters themed. So we've got a discount for all your melee mods, an improvement to emergency reinforcements, which I think is like you get a heal when you're low health.
Seems all but one armor charge. Okay.
A way to get armor charge while you're surrounded. The boost there gives you more weapon handling and charge rate for swords.
And the boost comes from tonics, right?
Yeah. So
Next time you break a target's shield or break the shield of a guardian using the super, you create an orb of power.
That is when you break a combatant shield, you get an orb of power, and then the boost on this actually is going to be really nice, which is picking up an orb of power or elemental pickup or tangle gives you a bit of health, which kind of replicates the leg armor mods, which you can like run both, or this can free you up a slot with that. I know like I'm running the Stasis Hunter with the new helmet, and that's going to be pretty good for that, and also just for staying alive and this activity, since it's kind of spicy.
Someone who's been a very punchy punch hunter these days with my Rorschach build, as I call it. Those there's a lot of mods in this row that I'm really looking forward to having.
Tomb of Elders activities are very claustrophobic.
Arc compounding, arc sources do increase damage to blind targets. Ooh, that's really good. Pure damage output.
Density.
Yes, density in Destiny is
that's what you want.
And arc compounding, which I believe was maybe in an older artifact, which is arc sources deal more damage to blinded targets, which might actually pair really well with the changes that got done to Exteris, since the moths there will be blind the blind for yourself.
That's why he's using Anarchy so well, and why it's spreading through things.
And to that end as well, quickly for anyone who may not read through every patch note necessarily, quick update, what were the changes you guys made to Exteris?
Yeah, we made some QL stuff, get a little bit more ammo, but the main thing was flattening out the projectile behavior a bit, so it goes a little bit higher velocity, less gravity, so you can more easily hit stuff from range. And then if you get multiple direct hits quickly, you also get a moth in the same way that you would on the kill trigger. So let's scale into some higher difficulty content a bit easier, and it does some work if you have like one big target to just lay into.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get back to some gameplay here in a second, but really quickly before we move on as well, we were talking before the show, there are some changes happening to roaming supers as well. Yeah.
So you may have seen earlier we had our Warlock here on Stasis Lock, but One of the things we're doing in this Act 2 patch is we're buffing all the roaming supers. So for context, that's like your Storm Trance, Vista Havoc, where you're in the super for a while, versus the one-shot supers like Nova Bomb, Tether, etc. We're making a change so that the damage-based rechargers, specifically in PvE,
only in PvE, not PvE.
You'll be charged like through active combat. You'll be charging the roaming supers like 2 to 3 times faster than normal.
Yeah.
So it's like a pretty big swing, but the idea that you want to move these a little bit closer to your neutral game, or something you feel more comfortable popping like on cooldown.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you need to keep it for when you kind of need it. You can use it pretty actively because you can get it back ready. Relatively quickly.
Yeah, you used the I think a great analogy earlier of like it's not the hyper potion in your backpack you hold on to forever because you
want to try and break that habit. We understand it's a hard habit to kick.
As someone again who uses the super basically only in the final phase of any boss fight.
Years and years of Destiny have trained me very well to do that too. So it was interesting seeing in playtest because took people a bit to kind of adapt to it, but once we got used to how quickly they were coming back, it was like a lot of fun because it opens up a lot more things too. Because like now there's a bunch of exotics that are tied to roaming supers that are just instantly more valuable without needing to change a whole lot of stuff.
Totally,
so it shakes things up. Get some options.
Yeah,
it sounds enticing for like
because
onslaught,
holding on to your super until the boss. You want to be able to use it more frequently.
Speed. Versus just like burst damage or something.
Right. Yeah, and just upping that versatility factor, honestly, of all things, you know?
Just bringing some other stuff kind of back in the limelight.
Yeah, no, very excited. The build crafters out there in the audience, you've got your work cut out for you now. Go ahead and start adjusting those variables in your various spreadsheets and everything.
I was about to say the same thing. When you see the spreadsheets, when I eat lunch, I sometimes just put on a video and I'm like, let me see what the meta is.
Care about.
Dear Mactix, tell me what my build is today. Yeah, no.
Then you have Bjorndal internally where it's like, what's my meta going to be in a month? What should I start saving now?
I will admit, I had also, when I got a sneak peek at Alethanim, I went home that day and built like a stasis loadout just in preparation for it, more or less. The stand-in was I can't remember the name of it at any rate, but the exotic scout rifle.
Oh, wait, what, Demonstale? Or
from Season of the Deep?
Oh, Wicked Implement.
Thank you, Wicked Implement. There we go. This is.
Sorry, I had to.
Thank you.
Scroll back my brain a bit.
I appreciate it. There's only one scout rifle in my brain, and it's just the dead man's tail. So
that's why we were just talking about that earlier. I went to that.
Yeah. All right, so we've obviously got a lot of great stuff arriving with the season in terms of the activity and weapons, but Dylan, I want to turn my attention solely to you. In addition to the cool content being added, you've got some notes prepared, I see. We've got some cool stuff to go ahead.
Have notes.
There it is. All right, everyone, get your memes going. We have got some cool stuff arriving in the form of, let's go ahead and start from the top. We're doing a partnership with Street Fighter coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about the cool stuff that we're going to have available through that partnership?
Maybe.
All right, well, what if I ask please, may you tell us?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I mean,
there we go.
So you've seen a few things through gameplay. We have a bunch of cosmetics. Like the first thing you can see here is a wonderful set of ghosts. So we got your Cammy and Ryu. Your Chun-Li. I wouldn't want my ghost to get into a fist fight with any of the bosses really, but that one looks like they could take.
The Ryu one's pretty swole, I gotta say.
Yeah. I'm gonna punch every face of the witness.
There's a lot, so you better get to work.
Yeah. And then one of our players has actually been running around with a Blanca helmet, which is so it's not one class that gets this. It's going to be universal ornament. The helmet goes on all characters, Hunter, Titan, Warlock, which is going to be great. And then with the roaming super changes, like you can throw on your Titan Arc super, you could throw on Storm Trance, and go and kind of role play with some of that electricity, right?
Yeah, honestly, just really live up that fantasy of being Blanca after all this
time.
Like a little
maybe not as swole as him
necessarily, but still, it's a step in the right direction.
Speak for yourself, Andy.
Okay, stop. All right, we all know, Noah, that you're just way cooler than all of us. Okay, stop rubbing it in.
As long as we know.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, great.
So, great. So there are also 3 finishers. You might have seen those sprinkled in through the gameplay. Lightning Kick, Spinning Bird, Hadouken. I can't do that.
What are you doing over here, Dylan? Thank you.
Was mine?
Your face right now is like
than the joke,
great.
Significantly.
Why?
Funny.
Significantly better. Yeah.
Oh man, like look, if you love if you enjoy Street Fighter, hell yeah, why not? There's not personally for me.
Gameplay's on screen anyway.
There
we go. Yes. All right. So we've got some notes to show off as well. Let's start with
you can actually fight someone else in Street Fighter Star.
This one's a little time
to fight.
The health bars are so good.
And winner. And then we got a bonus round.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
Yeah. It's not exactly a Honda Civic, but it's just as much fun to go ahead and beat
I
up.
want to do a shout out to every Guardian in the tower. 1997 Honda Civic Adept. I see you. I love you.
It's an important role to play, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. This is going to be my new trial.
I wonder how much they are.
Right. And then we actually have a
Oh,
segue
expensive,
on screen already
probably.
with the armor that has been adorned.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and rotate over there. With the arrival as well
Oh,
of this
that's
act,
sick.
the Dawning is going to be making its return as well on December 10th, I believe.
Let me check my notes. Yes, December 10th. Yeah, 10 a.m. right at reset. We'll have the Dawning coming back. The wonderful theme for our armor is going to be a celestial
December 10,
space
the
dragon,
Dawning.
which is
Okay.
really great. And then the team did a bunch of
Write
really
that
good
down.
work on
Write that down. I'm
shader
gonna write that
application.
down.
We've seen your feedback
December
tons of times
10,
on, hey, I
the
want my
Dawning.
shaders to look pretty on all the armor that I'm getting.
Yeah.
This knocks it out of the park, especially with that celestial star map in the wings. So
Yeah.
each class is going to get their dragon on. It's going to be a great time.
Boom.
These armor sets you can get for silver or bright dust. So if you've been doing all your Pathfinders, shout
That's
out to
pretty
the
cool.
team on the Pathfinder changes in the last episode launch.
Yeah,
Yeah, lots of
made a
bright dust,
huge
so
difference.
you can get these armors pretty quick.
A Dreamweaver
And
skin
then Dawning,
goes
yeah,
nice
we're going
with
to
it.
have
Cheddar,
your
I should
favorite
say.
cookie baking activities coming back,
Right.
going around to all of your different vendors, giving them nice treats, giving some raisins to Eris, that kind of stuff.
Right.
There have been a couple of quality of life changes that I want to call out from the team. Here. Let's see. Dark Frosting. So it's not just going to be Stasis anymore. Both of your Darkness subclasses, Strand and Stasis, are going to make that easier. And then for every Guardian out there that's been saying, hey, this specific ingredient is not dropping for me, we're upping the drop rates for all
Excellent.
those. So if
Thank
you're
you.
using Void, trying to get that null taste or whatever,
And we are.
you'll start getting that a little bit more frequently.
I never had an issue.
Stop it. Okay. Don't
Well,
do that.
yeah, you're the lucky one.
Yeah.
Built different.
Devly.
Classic Taylor.
710,
Yeah,
the Dawning.
Devlin.
Yeah. That's it.
Dawning Engrams are coming back. We have Focusing. You can actually earn double perks as well. So if you're trying to get the new
nice.
linear fusion rifle with some spicy rolls, it's going to be nice to earn a pathway
The
to
new
a couple in the
linear
columns.
fusion
But
rifle.
if we could get a
What
preview.
was that?
Yeah. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
what is it? What is
Adaptive
it?
Burst, beautiful fusion rifle. There's already actually a pretty spicy roll on the
Mistral
screen
lift.
right now. So on the left column, internally we call it Box Weaken.
Like box breathing.
What
Yeah,
is
Withering
what's
Gaze.
actual?
Withering
Oh,
Gaze.
that's a
Withering Gaze,
lot
so
of
aim down
great
sights for a bit,
perks.
and
Oh
then
my
left
goodness.
column.
Withering
Oh, sorry,
Gaze, Clown
you
Cartridge,
can weaken
Envious
your targets, and then in
Assassin.
the right column, bait and switch.
Reconstruction.
So amp up your damage, weaken your target. That's actually going to be a pretty spicy roll.
And the last
Might
one,
save
bait
your
and
2 to get a
switch,
bunch of your
firing
ammo back.
line, precision
But if you're actually
instrument,
worried about ammo,
frenzy.
Envious
That's
Arsenal,
great.
it's one of the hottest perks of this season,
Maybe
or of this
precision
episode.
instrument,
Sorry, this act.
Envious Assassin. That's pretty
Those are
good.
going to pair really well on this linear that's coming out.
Bait and switch has become the darling
swap
child of my
modes.
heavy ammo slot, honestly. So I'm excited to see this. Also, I think we were talking earlier, after being such big fans of Stormcaller, seeing another adaptive burst,
yeah.
linear fusion rifle
Yeah.
on the map was pretty
Chaser.
exciting, honestly.
Storm
Storm
Chaser.
Yeah, that's
Chaser, Thank you,
cool.
Storm Chaser. My
Yes.
mistake.
Yeah, shout
That
out
was
to
a test. You passed.
Storm-themed content. In
Yeah.
that game, if you hadn't noticed.
one of my buddies out in Midwest, he actually
like
does some
3
storm
best.
chasing as a hobby. So he was like, I need that gun. Love you,
I
Butane.
remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and then outside of the new weapon, there are going to be a bunch of reprised weapons with new roles. So your fusion rifle, pulse rifle, glaive, sword, and the machine gun. Big shout out to Lego LaFlash. He's my go-to content creator for fusion rifle rolls and Glacioclasm. You may see it in the Crucible, may shake your fist at it a couple times, but there are going to be some more rolls.
After seeing you in that Bungie Foundation stream, just mopping the floor with people with fusions, I
More
fully
rolls?
expect this to be added into your
Full-on
as
dad
soon as
logo,
possible.
man. Pulse
Yeah.
rifle, fusion rifle, let's
You
go.
Nothing wrong
monster.
with it.
Yeah.
We can't be friends anymore.
I mean, on Glacioclasm, there's going to be Lone Wolf closing time. So push out that range, tighten up that cone. It's going to be great.
Stop it right now. You're
probably
giving everyone
correcting
ideas,
me on
Dylan.
that, but-
Okay?
Sorry, what was that?
It's tough enough to get to the lighthouse these days. You're giving everyone ideas, all right?
Yeah, I hope they come in and ruin my day. It makes for great clips. Yeah, and I mean, so strange coins are actually going to be added to the Dawning gifts as well.
Yeah.
So, like
nice.
with Festival of the Lost,
that's
you can
cool.
get the exotic class items with candy and that kind of stuff. With Dawning, you're going to get higher drop rate of those strange coins from giving out those gifts, and then you can go to Zur. You can get your exotic class items or the Zerf board actually too.
Oh, nice. So we can.
It's not
the
necessarily
Zerf
a catch-up
board.
mechanic, but we know, hey, you might not be going into strikes or Crucible and earning strange coins, so we're trying to spread the love a bit.
Nice.
So-
We'll get what we deserve.
I keep setting you up
Yeah.
for these, and then
I
I
know.
just regret.
No, thank you. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll do you a solid. Set you up for one. We have one more cool little thing actually. There's a new fashion set that's being added to Act 2 as well. The players have been pretty excited about it. They may have caught wind of it, but can you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here, Dylan?
So by the power of the moon, the team has done absolute beautiful work on some Doki Doki Destiny sets. We got your Warlock and your Titan there, showing off their fashion, pondering an orb, if you will. But yeah, I mean, this has been a set a long time
That's
coming.
great.
We hope
The grim dark
throwing
world
on
of
some
Destiny.
bows, some ribbons, and, just having a fun time in fashion. If you want to go super black and be a gothic cutesy set, that's going to be.
It's a great time for that, honestly.
Yeah, right.
This is available through Silver.
This is going to be Silver and Bright Dust.
And Bright Dust.
Again,
Okay.
yeah, if you're going in doing your Pathfinders, all that kind of stuff, yeah, it'll be available in the Eververse for Bright Dust or Silver.
Gonna be a good time.
Live your best fashion life.
Right. Fashion is the true end game.
Destiny is going to be really dialing
Let's
it up.
see. Any other notes? Oh, I do want to give a shout out.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I mean, like at the top of the show, I was saying I'm an emissary of the team, but ultimately there are a ton of people that make cool content. Like we have Noah Taylor here right now, but big thank you to Mike Profeta, Joshua B, CJ Payne, Brad Fisher, Mercules, and Michelle on test as well for working on a bunch of these sandbox changes, a bunch of these dawning goodies.
Yeah.
There are a ton of unsung heroes at Bungie, from IT to like the folks behind the stream and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a group effort, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, it's nice. Let's make those thankless jobs ones that get a lot of thanks. Honestly, they deserve it for all the
I have
hard
a
work
shout out also.
Please.
I want to shout out
Same.
Keenan for everything you saw in Tomb of Elders and contest, every arena. He had made it himself, and it is beautiful as we've seen. So I want to shout out Keenan and Olivia. I already shouted her out earlier, but I'll just do it again.
Never hurts. Yeah. Taylor, anyone you got for you?
Yeah, Vivian on the Scorn weapons and that origin perk.
Yeah.
Matt Dowling for all his work on the release.
Yeah.
And then Denny for something we might talk about in a bit.
Interesting.
We'll get to that.
What an interesting little tease that is.
Yeah, I mean, teams are stronger than heroes is one of the Bungie pillars.
Yeah.
And it's like, in the game, this is where you see it in full force because everything is made by so many hands.
Yeah, honestly, that's something I always say is nothing ever happens here in a vacuum, right? Like it takes a lot of people to come together. This coalescence of technical and artistic skills, like really make a lot of cool stuff happen. So, we'll obviously make sure and give additional thanks at the end, but to our compatriots at Bungie that are here even now, working hard, continuing to build all the next chapters of Destiny, thank you all so much. We appreciate it.
Do I have any other notes?
Do you have any other notes?
I think. Oh yeah, last thing. We've had a lot of players asking about Iron Banner.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Yeah, November 26th. So the week after the Act launches,
November 26th,
we'll have
yeah.
Iron Banner coming back with a new armor set and a couple new weapons that a certain somebody might have
Couple new
details on.
weapons. Can you give us a tease? There was a sidearm. I remember we were
Yeah,
talking
I
about
need
a little
it.
bit earlier. Yeah.
Stasis,
we knew about
right,
that, November
sidearm
26th.
With choke clip. I think some people have already found that, but yeah, that'll be available soon.
I just like all those words,
To
honestly. on
forever
their own.
sit in that slot.
Yeah, I cannot wait, honestly.
Mine is
Archon's
beautiful
Thunder,
forever.
baby. Get your machine gun on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's been a while. Just even the look of that one, honestly, I'm smitten by. But
Yeah.
that nice classic solar light machine gun is a lot of fun.
Yeah, but we'll have a ton of twids between now and end of December when we go dark. But we'll have a bunch of stuff on Iron Banner, Dawning, all the goodies in there. We have a bake-off event that's going to be going on in the game where you can earn some cosmetics and emblems.
Yeah.
And, we have a lot of good content in this act going through the end of the year.
Very nice. Excellent. Well, we also, as is the case with these streams, we're getting near the end of our agenda here for today. But as is the case typically, we're going to leave you with just one more thing as well. Now, as a quick heads up, the launch of Act 3, is going to be on January 7th. So given that that's right after 2025 rolls around, many of us will be at home spending time with our families and loved ones, or if you're like me, sitting around just playing more Destiny. So as a result, we won't be actually having an Act 3 stream. So unmark those calendars for the stream, but make sure you log in that day because with the arrival of Act 3, shortly after the arrival or right when it launches.
Was that
we'll
no
defer
Act
that
3
to a
stream?
quick make sure
Interesting.
we get that
No,
done
yeah,
on.
no Act 3.
There's going to be a new exotic weapon.
No Act 3 stream.
arriving
All right,
as well.
fair enough.
And with it, a new exotic shotgun as well that we're going to actually take a look at here today.
Exotic
The
shotgun,
name,
all right.
we're not going to spoil for you because it has some story implications. But Taylor,
You're gonna-
I
well, I
love to
know
put you on the
this
spot
is-
real quick. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here?
Yes, this is
Yeah,
Slayer's
what's this?
Fang. It's a pretty unique
Slayer's Fang.
slug shotgun.
Slug
it fires
shotgun.
a single slug round
It's like
that once
pellets.
it impacts a target or surface, like environment, the slug shatters in a bunch of secondary projectiles. And then once you get a kill,
Okay.
you get true sight for a short period of time, and then the shattered projectiles will beacon targets that they hit, and they get a bit smarter with their tracking.
Very nice.
It's also got
All right.
a pretty unique reload.
Yeah.
For a shotgun.
Crystal in that?
Yeah, it's like a small void crystal. Like I think the theme.
It's like the Needler from Halo.
Surface and they shatter.
Yeah.
We went down as a squad of 9. We're turned into void crystals and are now in an
That's
exotic
pretty
weapon.
cool.
Hey, I mean, we
turn everything and everyone into weapons around here.
Comes guns or bullets or
Yeah.
something.
A worm.
Interesting.
But,
That seems like a
also
very
fully reloads the
PvP
gun.
sort of shotty.
I was gonna ask.
It's not shell by shell.
Yeah, was it the whole? So it's the whole magazine up front, not necessarily. Okay. I can already I'm already mentally trying to build this into as many loadouts as I possibly can.
Yeah.
For being
Your Falcon? Yeah.
Very curious if no backup plans, Titans might happen.
Well, they will now.
Yeah. Also benefits from the shotgun changes that happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually,
Honestly,
like reasonable range to use this.
Is it
Yeah.
craftable?
Yes. Yeah. So like kind of the past couple quests we've done with this, like Choir 1, etc. A bunch of things to do in the activity, intrinsic levels to unlock, and a handful of catalysts that have some interesting interactions with how the gun works itself.
very nice. All right, so the theory crafters in the audience are gonna have plenty to sink their teeth into.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a few other maybe secret things to do.
Maybe secret things. All right, that's cool. Well, when
I like
they
maybe secret.
maybe secrets are maybe cool.
I like
Things for you to find
Yeah,
out.
we'll wait for the YouTubers to make their Pepe Sylvia wall of all the different secrets that exist in there at some point. But for now, that actually leads us to the end of our series of events. My page of notes has gone ahead and concluded. So today we actually had a quick chance to go ahead and dive in and take a look, pardon me, at a little bit of what's to arrive with Act 2 of episode Revenant. Huge thanks to Noah for walking us through the Contest of Elders and the new Team of Elders. Much appreciated. Taylor, thank you a ton for walking us through some of the weapons that are going to be arriving, along with some other sandbox changes that are going to be going along.
Absolutely. I love talking about this stuff.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a great time. It's been, even just before the stream, sitting in here, just going through it all has been so much fun. So thank you all for joining us. And of course, to Dylan for kind of walking us through a little bit of what's to come, including the stuff with the Dawning, the Street Fighter 6 partnership, the Doki Doki set that is no jokey jokey. Thank you, Dylan. We appreciate you taking the time.
No worries.
Had to get one more in.
Good. I'm sorry.
Never
All right.
be free.
I'm excited to go home and get some hot dogs from Garden of Salvation that this man worked on. So I mean, sorry, deep sights. So
Tomato to hot dog. It's all right. It works out well.
What is going on?
We're all going mad in here. No. So thank you again to all you fine folks in the audience for joining us. To our fire team behind the scenes, obviously, Ashley, Justin, and Peyton, as always, for doing the heavy lifting. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join us. To the incredible crew here in-house that has the distinct challenge of trying to make me look good, thank you all so much. It's a joy to be a part of something like this. And then, of course, ultimately, from all of us in here to all of you out there, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate getting a chance to hang out with you and show off a little bit of what we've been working on. But in the meantime, make sure to go ahead and follow us at Destiny the Game on Twitter, Facebook, really your platform of choice. And otherwise, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you all Starside.
Nice. Awesome. Oh, well, that was a pretty good stream. Happy with all of that overall. The Tomb of the Elders seems like a great new addition to the game. Really cool to get back in and play some of those, fight some of those bosses. Oh, angle's a bit weird.
I gotcha.
There,
I closed the thing and then your thing adapted. I can tell you, as a third party watching you, I feel like, and this is just you, I'm not speaking of the whole community, I feel like you want more encounter like dungeons and you want more weapons. I feel like those are the two big things that you're most wanting in the game.
Honestly, cool new weapons that we can chase and cool new activities. So like the tomb is, I'm excited to see what that ends up being like, as well as the bosses, as well as like the different mechanics that we can do there. Yeah, sign me up for that. And then the fact that we've got like an exotic mission coming and the Dawning's coming as well. So yeah, there's plenty to keep us sort of engaged over Act 2, and I'm hoping that Bungie can kind of maintain this momentum, especially like if the Prison of Elders spin-off is like features those roguelite elements, it means that it's going to be funner to continually replay it. Yeah, so
I feel like
pretty keen for that.
I feel like, like you mentioned, I feel like repurposing older dungeons with like a new coat of paint is easier for them than just building something from scratch again or adding a completely new zone with different dungeons, right?
Yeah, these older activities, I think it's like you got a good groundwork to build off of as opposed to coming up with something completely new. We know that Prison of Elders worked in the past, and like Act 1 here, we knew that Onslaught worked in the past, so iterate on that, make it better. So got some good stuff there, but I think that probably is what we're going to call it there for the stream today. Thank you everyone for joining in and for your patience as we tackled a couple of technical issues before we went live.
That was all my fault.
Look, that's right. That's just the thrill of the highs and lows of college football, mate. Or high school football, I think they say in the show, Riverdale. But look, that happens. Technical issues, that occurs. That's no worries.
Well, like American football or like AU football? Like, you got to be more specific.
American football.
Okay,
the highs and lows of American football. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Make sure that you follow us on our various social channels and our platforms that you can see at the top of the screen here. You'll find us on Instagram, Twitch, obviously, which is where you're watching right now. We are on Facebook. We're on X. Wherever you need to be. You can also find us on YouTube. We've got 3 different channels. We've got our main Shacknews channel for gameplay and reviews and other cool stuff. We've also got our Shacknews VODs, which is where you can find uploads of our live streams. And we've also got Shacknews interviews, where you can find our discussions with industry professionals, whether it's voice actors or people from the movie industry or people from the video game industry. Lots of good stuff to see there. And of course, follow us over at shacknews.com, where you're going to find a whole bunch of Destiny 2 content, as is tradition, as well as news, reviews, guides, everything that you need to do. And so, yeah, if you want to support us, follow us over there, check us out. Hit that follow button here. If you've got the free monthly sub, send that our way. It means a lot to us, and it's just a couple of easy clicks for you. You can also support us by checking out Shack Pets on iOS and Android. We've just released our 2.0.0 update. It's looking very good. Plenty of quality of life changes there. UI has been redone. Some new exciting features that you should check out. Some new sticker packs, which is great as well. You can also visit bubbletron.com, which is our web-based browser game. Totally free, every day, random parameters. See if you can get the highest valued business and see if you can win that money hat. But I've been talking enough. Thank you very much, Greg, for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the reins on getting that stream. But that's going to be it for me and you at the moment. So yeah, thanks, mate.
Not a problem.
Let's bow out. Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you all very soon.